Hey everybody, little personal update. Like any proper journey, the trans experience is not a straight line. It meanders, takes a step back, hops forward, falls down, and generally loops around like a family circus comic. In that context, I come to you with a personal update about this. I am now going by Moxie, or Mox for short if that's your sort of thing, and rocking they them pronouns. Kermit was more than just an online handle, and also was always just kind of a middle step. So here we are at my, hopefully, final Pokemon evolution name-wise. So, welcome to me, Moxie. It's going to take some getting used to, everybody. And thank you for understanding. Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun! The show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
Hey you, it's JoJo January! Part 1, Phantom Blood! Welcome everybody! You thought it was your host, but it was I, Moxie! Here along with my how many Brads have you eaten in your life? Isekai Sensei-Sama, Brad! Brad, how you doing?
Isn't that part 3?
No, Dio says it in part 1. Because he describes how many people he's killed, and they ask him how many people he's killed, and he goes, how many breads have you eaten in your life?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do a running gag for JoJo. Hi, it's JoJo January, everybody. We're covering JoJo Part 1. We're doing
JoJo January.
Fuck you, it's JoJo January. We're late enough in the podcast, I can swear. But yeah, I wanted to do JoJo January because it's funny to say JoJo January. It could have been JoJo June or JoJo July, but it's JoJo January. And I think I'm going to make all the intros based on the memes from each of the parts as we cover them. So, if you somehow if you've been living under a rock, or maybe you just don't like JoJo, I don't know. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, all the parts of it are written by Hirohiko Araki. Phantom Blood, this one shocked me. Phantom Blood's original run went from January 1st, 1987 to October 26th of the same year and is only 47 chapters.
It was a good year. You know what else happened in 1987?
You?
Yeah.
I've arrived.
Dun dun.
JoJo. And because this is a well-known thing, and it's a short chapter, but it does a lot, and just the way it is written, we're bringing back, and it seems like, at least so far from my initial planning, for the entirety of JoJo January, for the JoJo bits, we're bringing back Manga Piece Theater. So strap yourselves in for a performance of a lifetime.
Or have someone strap you in so that you can't leave.
We'll do it for you. A woman lays bound to a stone slab as a man with a stone mask brandishes a stone knife.
Blood is life.
He shouts before plunging the dagger into her breast. The blood of this fair maiden fills the many fine cracks in this stone mask. The mask comes alive when it drinks the blood of the living.
Oh.
How delightfully bizarre! The man still lives even as numerous bones pierce through his skull.
I have done it. Eternal life is mine.
The crowd cheers. The man points at another kneeling nearby.
Will you become my life energy?
It will be my honor, sir. The masked man plunges his fingers into his follower and sucks the life out of him.
This stone mask has given me the true power of a ruler.
A fierce and powerful empire existed in the central Mexican highlands between the 12th and 16th centuries. Its culture was defined by brutal sacrifices and cannibalistic rituals. They were called the Aztecs, the people of the sun, and among them existed a tribe that attempted to take over the world using the powers of the stone mask. The mask was miraculous. It bestowed them with eternal life and the power to dominate. However, at some point, this tribe abruptly disappeared from history without having realized its goal, only leaving behind ruins of what once was. Why did this happen? Where did they go? The stone mask surely holds the key to solving this mystery. Our story centers around this stone mask excavated in Mexico and the adventures of two boys whose fates take a rather bizarre turn. We look in on one of them now.
Can you hear me, Dio? Dio. Are you deaf, boy? Come here.
Yes, Father, your medicine.
No, I don't need any medicine. Dio, can you come over here? There's something I want to talk to you about. I've not long left in this world. I know that. I'll be dead soon. You're my only concern once I pass on. Listen, Dio. You're to mail this letter and head to the place it's addressed to. This man owes me a favor. I'm sure he will look after you and send you to school. He owes me one. Yes, it was 12 years ago. A rainy day in 1868. I can never tell Dio what happened that day. The cliffs tend to crumble on the rainy days, and carriages often slip there. I was on my way back with some girl from the bar when... Look, there's an accident.
Wait, honey, I don't want to get involved in this.
Shut up. This is a rich man's carriage. He's a noble.
A scene of a brutal impalement on the coach wheels meets Dario as he slides down.
Damn, the one over there's a goner too.
There's a dead woman inside the carriage, but she's holding a baby that's still alive. She must have been protecting him.
Some brats in there? Who cares?
What are you doing?
You're dafter than you look. I'm taking everything that's worth something. One man's misfortune is another man's gain.
Oh, of course, you're so clever.
What luck. I've got quite the haul. What's this?
Dario opened a box to reveal the stone mask.
What's this creepy mask? No thanks to this one. Hey, help me pry this guy's mouth open. We'll pull out all the front teeth and sell him to the dentist to use as a replacement.
Honey?
Only nobles can afford false teeth, and he's a noble. Makes sense, right?
The dead man clutches Dario's hand.
Ugh.
You.
What? He's still kicking.
You're the one who saved me. Thank you. My wife. My wife and my son. Are they all right? Are they safe?
Your wife and the driver have passed. But the baby is safe. He thinks I was trying to save his life.
It should have been me instead of her. But my son is safe. I suppose such is fate. I was going to repay you, but it seems that someone came along and snatched my wallet and rings before you got here. The name is Joestar. I'd like to repay you for saving my life. Tell me your name before I lose consciousness again. A Joestar always repays his debts.
This guy's an idiot. Guess I got nothing to lose telling him my name. I am but an unworthy commoner. My name is Brando. I used the money I received from the Joesters to start a bar, but my luck went to crap. My wife died, the bar shut down, and now I'm on my deathbed. God damn it. Dio, once I've passed, go to the Joesters. You're a smart boy. Never lose to anyone and become the richest of them all.
Dio looks on silently as his father dies, then later at his father's grave. You were a worthless scumbag of a man who sent mother to her grave. You want me to become the richest man? Fine, I'll do it. I'll accept your inheritance. I could make it on my own, but I'll use anyone and anything that I can. I'll milk the Joestar nobles for everything they're worth, and never lose to anyone. Piece of garbage. The 19th century, a time when developments in agriculture and trade changed lifestyles and outlooks on life. However, while many people remained starving and poor, men, both young and old, dreamed that one day they could live the life of a nobleman. This thirst for riches took the people by storm. We cut to a field as two young cads toss about a little girl's dolly.
Hey, give it back! Her hand's going to rip off.
Oi, Irina, did you catch the rich quack doctor of her daddy buy you this doll?
Oi, how about we rip off her clothes? Then we can see how much it looks like the real thing.
Irina, the crybaby.
Suddenly, our hero appears.
Knock it off. Give her back the doll. Who the hell are you then? Irina's friend? I don't know her, but I've got plenty of reasons to fight you. Ah!
Bastard! I hate guys who try to look cool in front of girls. I'm gonna kick your arse.
Gah! What a sight to see. He tried to help her and he got his own arse kicked instead. Hey, you know this guy?
No clue. He couldn't be Joestar's only son now, could he?
I hate rich people. I don't have a reason to, but I hate them. If you're a Joestar, then there's reason enough to beat you to a pulp.
Jonathan pulls out an embroidered handkerchief to wipe the blood from his face. Looks like he's the Joestar kid after all.
Bastard. You think you're so high and mighty?
Time to teach you.
Go play on your own property.
Let's get out of here.
Here, let me help you clean up.
Leave me alone. Get out of here. I didn't go after them in order to get thanked by you.
The girl is shocked.
I want to be a true gentleman. You were a woman in trouble. There are times when a gentleman has to be courageous and fight, even when his opponent is bigger than he is and he knows he's going to lose. But one day, I'll be able to beat them.
Jonathan leaves, but his handkerchief is left behind, which the girl finds.
Jonathan Joestar. Why did he take his handkerchief out of his pocket? They wouldn't have attacked him so forcefully had they not known his name. He must have done it in order to become a true gentleman like he was talking about.
Back at the Joestar estate, a wild carriage rides into the yard and a briefcase pops out, and then it's Dio! And Jonathan is here to talk to him.
Who could that be? Oh, I know. That's Dio. Dio Brando. Dio's father saved my father's life, and he recently passed away, so father decided to let him live with us here at the house. He's the same age as me. You're Dio Brando, right?
And you must be Jonathan Joestar.
Everyone calls me JoJo, though. Nice to meet you. Danny! I'll introduce you. His name's Danny. He's a clever old hunting dog. Don't worry, he won't bite. I know you guys will be fast friends.
It was then Dio kicked Danny right in the face.
What are you doing? I'll never forgive you.
So this is the Joestar heir, the only son, JoJo. I'll psychologically torture him to the brink. Then I, Dio, will take his place as the heir to the Joestar estate. All of these episodes for JoJo January are kind of going to be pillar episodes where it's like we're kind of talking about the first chapter.
Especially part 2 with the pillar men.
Hey!
You just put it right there.
I did. Thank you for picking it up. It wasn't put down on purpose, but I'm glad it was picked up purposely. Because I've read all the JoJo. I've read JoJo parts 1 through 7. 8 is done. 9 is currently happening, but I've heard nothing about it, and I don't know what that means.
That's way too much JoJo.
I'm tempted to read. I think they're putting out part 7 again in manga on the app. I might reread that one because that one was really cool.
For context, I have watched all of JoJo up to like 2/3 of the way through Diamond is Unbreakable. And then we watched
you didn't finish that one.
the first half of Stone Ocean.
So you never touched any of 5?
No. In fact, I have not.
Okay, for some reason I thought you
Right.
watched some of that and stopped.
I mean, I've seen so much
You've seen the memes.
clips and memes and stuff.
Yeah, that's JoJo.
I have
That is
a lot
that's
of
part of
context,
JoJo. That's
so-
why the intro bits were memes from this.
Golden Wind.
Golden Wind. It's Golden Wind. But no, we're in Phantom Blood. We're at the start. There's no stands. We're in England. It is Jonathan, Joestar, and Dio.
And George.
And George. And Dario. Can you see the I don't think you can see the Empire from here.
No, not at all. Okay, I'll just get this out of the way. I've read this first chapter. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to read this.
You don't like it?
I'm not interested in this at all.
I love how, I mean, akin to our performance, I think JoJo Part 1 works because it's a big over-the-top morality play. I think it knows what it is more than you think it does.
This is definitely Future Vision, although it's also not because I didn't read the manga. But I watched the anime.
Yeah.
I didn't care
faithful.
for Phantom Blood. Like, there's plenty of in it that's fine. I obviously watched the whole thing, but like, and as an overall experience, I didn't care for it.
Interesting. Yep, there's people like that, yeah.
Part 2 was fun enough that I was like, I'm not going to get super into this, but like most of JoJo that I saw up until like halfway through Moria,
Part 4,
Diamond is Unbreakable,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is fine. I wasn't like super into it, but it was like, and then at the point basically where I dropped off of Diamond is Unbreakable, I was just like, this is just slogging.
I very much think that just means JoJo isn't for you. JoJo I found in college when I got back into anime and then just devoured each part as it came out and then was reading the manga ahead of the anime parts coming out once I got like in the groove of that. I think JoJo goes under like pro wrestling things. It's just like, that's why like I love the over dramaticness of like how evil Dio is. Like
He literally gets out of the carriage in an evil way.
Yes.
Like, what the hell?
Yes. And then in the moment after he gets out, he kicks a dog for just to be an asshole. And like, sometimes you want a villain like that. Sometimes you just want like, he is just evil. And there's something fun about that. Especially when you have Jonathan, and it's like Jonathan is Superman. Jonathan is John Cena. But he actually has to like struggle through everything. And that's what makes him, I think, compelling, that like this morality play works. It's just like, and that's how like Araki wrote it, of just like, this is good versus evil. There's no hemming and hawing. We're just smacking these two toys together. And I'm cranking the dial up to maximum on both of them.
I prefer the part 3 Dio because I like just the straight up over the top, I'm super powerful, super villain kind of stuff.
Well, he got born into that where now it's like this is him reaching for the top, and that's him. I mean, the Stone Mask. Like, we know the Stone Mask. These all these episodes are going to be Future Vision at the wazoo.
There's like this this thing where like I don't like evil without power behind it. So this thing at the beginning where he's just like kicking dogs and being a jerk, I hate that. But once you reach a certain level of power and you're kicking dogs and being a jerk, then suddenly I'm like, okay, now I'm compelled.
Brad, I feel like I've learned something about you, but I'm not sure what.
I don't know what
that means. I don't know what it means either yet.
I guess it's because like at a level of no power, if you're just a normal person and you're a jerk and an asshole, like I want you to stop because you have no reason for this, basically.
But he's reaching for power. This is like, Dio is just 5D level chess at all moments.
Yeah, I guess I'm sort of
like he's just so wonderfully, like, petty's not even the word for what he's doing, but just like the amount of stuff of him just needlessly messing. I mean, he's messing with Jonathan to get rid of Jonathan so he can become the heir to the Joestar line. Like, they are well off. We had the thing about like, I mean, Dio's living poor. Everybody's living poor. Like, he wants to pull himself out of that. Dio pulled himself up from his bootstraps and was mean to the rich. Maybe,
I mean, I'm
is
fine
Dio
with
the
that.
secret hero of JoJo when we look back?
But
the man came from nothing. He didn't need to kick. He didn't need to kick a dog. He didn't need to kick a dog.
Like if it was other rich people, but like these are the good rich people. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Would we be more keen about Dio pre him becoming a vampire if he did not kick and cook Danny and he was just shitty to JoJo?
Yes. By far, 100%,
but
1,000%.
But you know what? He
as
made
much
a villain.
as I can agree with that statement,
Araki knows how to make a villain. Have him brutalize an animal. Everybody loves animals, especially cute dogs.
See, I feel like it would have been more evil and people would have liked him more if he had gotten Danny to like him and taken him away.
But that was the point. It's Dio was supposed to be the hated heel, and how do you do that? You kick a dog. Yeah, because everybody likes dogs.
But what if you make someone else's dog like you more than them? That's evil.
I mean, people would just imagine themselves as Dio befriending another person's dog.
People already imagine themselves as Dio.
I don't think people imagine themselves as Dio kicking a dog
Yeah.
unless you're really weird and gross.
Fuck that person.
And also cooking in a fucking furnace while he's alive. Like that is effed up behavior.
He could have said that he put Danny in the furnace and not actually done that.
But he did though, because he's a little
Yeah, that's my
he's
point.
a fucked up little guy,
Yeah.
Brad. Except
Yeah.
he's not little. He's big. He's not even like size wise. He for a moment, like you said, how he gets out of the carriage, he emanates an aura. He spits on his own father's
Emanates an
grave.
Aura.
He's not yet.
This month is going to be nothing but this bullshit.
Yes, but it's gonna be slightly different flavors every time.
Ugh.
Oh man, that first chapter, part 2 is weird.
Let me tell you what. I was reading this.
What worked for you here, and then
And-
also kind of what
And
didn't work.
first of all, on Viz, first chapter, all in color, entirely.
Yes, and then in weird orange.
Well, that's the Araki thing, where he always like, it's like everything's normal, and then something's happening, so he like color shifts everything in
No,
a
but
weird
it's
way.
the rest of it's in black and white. But the beginning part of it, after the full color things, there's some of the manga has it where it's like it's tricolored. It's black, white, and orange.
That's what they do in the anime. But they
but it's an
for
anime's not a
specific-
manga you have to print.
But you can see where
you
it
don't
came from.
you don't see a lot of tricolor, but
Yeah.
that's how they read. I don't know if that was really. I don't know. I think he
Anyway.
also went back and redrew some of part 1, if memory serves, so the proper release, because we have the hardback release is what's on the app.
Well, what I was getting to was
Yeah.
I was reading this and going, oh my God, this looks exactly like the Poe clan.
Ha!
Like, it's that
Interesting.
old style of manga art.
Well, that goes more into I think he redid it. I don't remember when. He touched it up so it looks more like later JoJo. I could be wrong
I
about
didn't
that.
think
I might
it
be
did,
misremembering
though,
that.
because I was like, or maybe the version I was reading was the original
what
one.
he finds them to look. Maybe, I don't know. I got to double check that. I swear it looks kind of different. But like,
There was one particular thing, I think it was either Arena or Dio, where like their hair was flowing back, and I was like, holy shit,
it's
that
Poe
looks
clan.
like God, what's her name?
Brad,
Maidenberry-
it's time for me to not help you with
Yeah.
a name.
whatever the girl vampire is in
Sure.
the Poe clan. But I was like, oh my God, that looks exactly like her. And I was, yeah. And honestly, I mean, as we've established, I don't like that style, and it did turn me off.
You don't like old manga.
Yeah.
You don't like over the top stuff.
But also, I was already not really on board with it before that, so it didn't really
Didn't
do
help.
that much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can see all of it. I see all the markings.
What do you like? Not what you think is good. What do you like? Nothing? Oh, that face is more deadly than frowning.
I mean, part of the problem is I'm having a hard time putting my finger on
I've
it.
put 2 arcs together that I should not have put next to each other. I'm learning. My co-star here.
You were like,
I did.
oh, Brad likes everything. We got to find stuff he doesn't like.
This wasn't even intentional. It was just how I wanted to do the arcs. We did a romance arc, so it made sense to do a
This
sports arc, and
was
now we're in
your
January.
monkey paws wish.
It was.
You made your bed, now you
made my
lie
bed.
in it.
Yes. I'm JoJo. I mean, I'm going to. It's weird coming back to this now years later, of like not in the time of my life that I like took in JoJo, and admittedly, it's like I didn't finish the part 6 anime, where I watched all. I don't know if I guess I didn't finish part 5 either, but some of that was just like my anime watching habits kind of changed, and then we didn't watch it, and I guess that was like a weird time when I put that down. But it's like if part 7 gets announced, we're watching it. Like I'm excited to see that because some cool stuff pops off that I don't remember very well. But like, it's wild it starts here. I think it does have something cooking. I think it's weird. I think it's more than. I think Phantom Blood. Like, obviously you can dislike it and it can not be for you, but I think it's aged better than you'd think.
I think that's the point.
I think it's not just, I think it's more than, I think the point I want to get across is it's more than a historical item at this point in time.
Yeah.
I think it's still worth going back to. Like, even before we had this time and I read the first chapter again, I don't remember, maybe it was when reading about the Japan making a musical theater version of it this year. I think with some tweaking, and some sanding down of anime edges, I think you could make part Phantom Blood into a stage play. I don't know what its tone would be quite yet, because I don't like. It's like I don't know what you do with Zeppeli, but it's just like it feels like something I could translate because maybe it's just because it's set in like Britain and it feels akin to like other
streamers
plays of that.
Haman
Oh,
streamers.
But just like like I don't know how I'd handle combat because I don't think like but it's like it's the drama it's like it's so theater because it's the drama of good versus evil like it's just and it's so specifically made to be about that and it cranks the knob up on that and it just feels like a thing that you could make a stage play of in America at a local level or something.
I wanna be very clear here. I don't think this is bad.
No, I know your tone of voice. The listeners don't know at this point.
For me,
yeah,
and I'm not entirely sure why, but just overall, I mean, obviously the art, like I said, but the anime doesn't look like this. The anime looks like basically what you expect JoJo to look like.
Yeah.
And I didn't, like I said, I didn't care for the part 1 of the anime. I didn't think it was bad, but there's something to it that just doesn't click with me. So
I think I learned more and more. It's I don't know if it's 100% of the over the. I guess my posited hypothesis is that it's the over the topness of it.
There's definitely something to that.
Like I ride raw emotions as the Red Oni. I ride raw emotions more than you do, and I can just sort of ride waves of what's going on more and get enjoyment of that where you don't, which is again not a problem. That is just how you are. I pass no judgment on that one, at least.
Yeah, it could be that, but then like, so what we've established is like, I don't like the really over the top stuff in real life. So I don't care for wrestling. I don't care for the Super Sentai, those kind of things. I hate actual soap operas, even though I read all this soap opera like stuff.
It's very strange. An enigma, ladies and gentlemen.
But within anime, within manga, within manhwa, the over the top stuff is fine. I don't have a problem with it. But something in here, and I don't know if it's the over-the-top stuff that is putting me off, but something within this, you know what? I actually don't hate over-the-top stuff in plays, but that's it.
That's why I gotta make a play version of it. I'll make the Phantom Blood play, and then you'll like it.
I don't know what it is. I guess
that's just wrestling.
It's just up there on the wall.
That's what wrestling is.
I get what you're saying, but it's.
I know brains don't make sense, and shouting does not change the situation.
It's when they present it as this is a real thing that's happening. So in a show, in a TV show, you're supposed to have that like, oh, this is a real thing that's happening, that suspension of disbelief. That the over-the-top stuff takes me out of. But when it's a play, it's up on a stage, it's like, oh, yeah, we're just right here. We're seeing this. Like, there's no expectation of like, suspend your disbelief and pretend this is real.
The state of reality is different and can change. Yeah.
So setting that aside, I don't think that's the reason.
This is the most theatery of all of them. This is the most theatery of them.
Yeah.
My current plan is to manga piece theater the rest of them for this month.
And let's be fair. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yes.
I like doing the over the top acting stuff. Like that was fun. I think I'm going to have fun with all of them, and probably listening to that or watching other people do that. I would enjoy that. It's just something within, I don't know, the characterizations or the presentation. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
You being in it. This has like literally nothing to do with manga and anime, but I've been coming to this recently with doing musical theater stuff. There are songs that when I listen to them, I don't care for, but when I'm singing them with everybody, it's the most fun thing that's ever been.
Yeah. The karaoke effect.
And I guess like it's more fun doing than taking in. Like I had that with like I do not like Rent. I really do not like Rent. But like
25,600
hate
minutes.
That song. Was in a cabaret. That was the ending piece. Everybody sang it together. Felt amazing.
That's
Loved
the
it.
only part I know.
That's all you need. Had a great time with the song's called Seasons. Had a great time singing with everybody. Like was just so fun. Yeah. But like listening to it, don't like taking it as a piece of media, but I love creating it. It's really fun. I'm curious how we're going to move forward with these because especially the what I've peeked ahead of my own future vision in planning phase right now, they just hit the ground running. Like it's like they're different parts, but they are like essentially just pick up where the last one left off after a time skip.
That could mean that I like the next couple of them.
I'd be curious to know. Well, at least we'll have fun doing manga piece theater on them.
Yeah.
But I should have gotten maybe when we cap the month out for part 4 about where JoJo is in the lineup, but I'm sure it has to be fairly high on the most sellingest manga because it's like mad popular the world over. That's always what's interesting to me.
Do they count them
about
all
that.
together?
They have to, right?
Probably. Oh, I'll tell you what. I actually might not like the first chapter of part 3, because part 3, while I like the overall part, the first 1 or 2 episodes I didn't care for.
Well, I mean, you're only going to get what's maybe in episode
Right.
1 because it's mostly just going to be the prison.
Yeah.
So
The prison part was fine. That part, but then like the school stuff
I
before
don't
they
even know if we
actually
get to
like
the school.
set
We'll
out on
see.
their journey, I didn't really care for.
If we see a stand, I will be very surprised.
You see Star Platinum
Yeah, but do you see him in chapter 1?
I think
You
so.
see him in episode
He
1?
catches a bullet.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know. I'll have to see.
Spoilers.
I didn't read it
Anyway.
yet. But it's looking back on this, it's wild to me how short this is.
Yeah.
There are things that we thought would die and jump that recently have run longer than this than Phantom Blood.
Wait, did you say how many chapters it was?
47.
That's out of flop territory.
That's like sub 50. That's wild to me. That this thing that is like, I mean, it's the rest of it. Can you think of another? I'd say manga, but literally anything that works like JoJo, where it's like each part builds on the last, but also it doesn't. Like you could get off whenever you wanted, and you could technically get on whenever you wanted without too much struggle.
No, I don't think there is.
There's like nothing else that I can think. Like you can hop to part 7 right now if you wanted to. You'll get a complete story. There'll be bits and pieces that maybe either will make less sense or it won't like. I don't want to say full on Easter eggs, but of akin to that. It's like, hey, if you know JoJo stuff, certain things will be like, it's that thing.
Yeah, I mean,
But I
think
don't
that's
remember them ever being load bearing. But I'd have to go back for it.
the thing that sets it apart is like, even though some characters do come back in later parts, you're always following someone different.
You never need it. You're getting more things. Like if you've read stuff before, you get more out of it, but you don't. Like I don't like you could skip to part 4 and it's like I don't think you need part 3 to meet Jotaro. Like you get to see him. You'll have a different opinion of him, obviously, than somebody who read part 3 than didn't. But like
I would say the most continuity is part 2 to 3, and even then it's like you don't
technically
need
it's 1 to 3 because you need to you have to meet Dio.
Yeah, but I was thinking more about the fact that
Jotaro Kujo, Joseph Joestar.
Joseph. God, Jonathan.
Joseph's coat of many colors.
I was thinking more about
recently.
the fact that Joseph is specifically like a main character in both 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, and a side character in 4.
He's very, very less important in 4.
Yeah, but I don't think you need. Like, I can't go back in time and re-experience Stardust Crusaders Part 3 without anything else. So it's just, but like, I can't think of anything else that's like this, that you could just get on and off, that each thing was technically a complete story. Though, admittedly, Phantom Blood ends in a very, like, way.
Yeah.
But, like...
It's almost like it's an anthology, you know?
Yes.
Because the anthologies do that where it's like, here's a complete story, here's a complete story,
The
here's a
Poe
complete
Clan.
story. But there's these connections
Unintentionally
to it.
for you experienced it out of order.
You could liken it to that, but like
That's the
the
closest
main
thing I had that
character is the same the whole time. Even if some of the chapters sort of follow a different character, Edward's the main character the whole time. Edgar. I did that in the episode too.
It's just wild that nobody else has done that, and I don't know if it's just nobody else is allowed to, or nobody can pull it off, or just like, yeah, start here, do a time skip, give me their kids or their kids' kids. Like,
How much time was there between part 1 and 2
as like time passing in world,
in real life?
I think we'll find out when we do part 2. I'll make sure I mark that down.
Okay. Because that's what I was just thinking is like, if he told the story he wanted to tell for part 1, and then like months to years later was like, I want to tell another story with these characters, then that would make sense to me of like, okay, you're going to keep doing this. And then after the third time, it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing now.
But it's that sense, I don't know if I already had a love of it or this just cemented it, but it's just that feeling of like fate and like the bloodline of just like like all the intros always stress it so much of just like all the way up from Joseph to Jolene, and like the way that family tree builds out, and the way that things harken back, and like it's going to be 1 billion years until we get to freaking part 5. So I'm just going to, and also just everything's future vision out the wazoo here. It's freaking JoJo. It's the one series. Also, the one series you just can't be spoiled on, because there's just constantly stuff popping off. And when you see it in context, it will always feel differently. Like, I mean, it's nicer to go in blank, but like, even if you know things, like the freaking bit in part 5 with Giorno, that Giorno is technically, he's a JoJo, but he's also technically Dio's son. And he does a big, like, punch combo thing, and he rees. He mudas, and he does a big re. The re! And it's like, that's rad. It has no story significance, but, like, when you're following this, like, yes, his father, like, it's, you know, does it play out as much as you want that he's Dio's kid? No. But, like, it's still cool when you get those moments. Or it's like that little bit where Joseph uses Hamon in part 3 when he's fighting the weird cyst on his arm or stuff like that. Like,
and then it was never to be seen again.
But just, or like, just Jotaro like runs away. Like there's just like these little winks that go back. Or it's just like this fighting spirit is in all of them. Like, I love that. I'm just such a sucker for that.
Joestar, special move, running away.
I would love to watch part 2 again. Part 2 was like my favorite back then. I don't know how I'd feel about it now. Like, that's the thing. It's like, that was me getting back into anime in college. I don't know if I'd call myself an adult yet, but like, as a young adult. We need to end this episode.
Yeah, probably at some point.
What are your feelings?
Oh, shit. I'm wondering, do I think this is good? I think it's good. I think it's good, not ambivalent, which throwback to the episode that we recorded an hour ago that you heard weeks ago.
Good respectfully?
No.
No?
No, I don't really respect it.
Rude.
It's like...
derogatory?
No.
I have no idea how you're feeling, sir.
Hold on, I'm looking for a word. You tell me what your feelings are.
I'm somewhere between good and great, and I don't know if it's just because in the way that JoJo is connected to itself that I'm just thinking about all of it together, which I can't because we have to cover these separately. But like, and also I'm supposed to only do it from this chapter. I guess if I'm only looking at this chapter, I say good. No, historically means like you should go back to it if you care enough. But like, I think genuinely as a piece of media, this is fun. This is good to go back to if this is your bag. I don't think it's just, and even if your bag is not just historical delving, which is, I think there's something more here than just that. So good excitedly, good to great.
I am going to say good unintentionally.
What does that mean?
It means that I did not intend to say this was good, but it got there.
We talked enough for you to get there.
The place where I sort of started at was fine, positive? Question mark?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think just it's the thing of like I can't undo both my future knowledge and just literally all of JoJo in this moment, and this is where it begins. And I think it's
even though Araki undid JoJo at one point.
I mean, yeah, he technically started the new timeline, and now I don't know what's going on anymore with 9. I barely know what happens with 8. Someday I'll sit down. If they were officially, I want to read JoJo Part 8 officially. So one day that might happen. Why haven't they done that? Side tangent. We should end this episode.
Good,
but
officially.
Good official. There you go. That's my position. It is weird that JoJo is this big phenomenon, and nobody's been like, yeah, let's make books for the later parts. Maybe they're just saving them when the anime comes out. It just feels weird to me. Like JoJo Part 7. It came out probably a decade ago. Not officially released in America in English. There's no official English release.
That's
like
bizarre.
That's money. Exactly. That is money. People are chomping at the bit for Part 7 anime if they even care anymore because it's been a long enough time. That's money left on the table that you could just print easily. Like, I know it's a long part, but like, just pay somebody to localize it like you did with the other 6 parts. Like, that's money. People want it. I read the fan translation because there's no official translation. There's no official printing of it in English that I'm aware of. Caveats. Would I buy it? Technically, I did in the past. When the anime was coming out, I bought all of Phantom Blood. I don't have it anymore. I sold it. I made good money off of that. Those hardbacks sell for good money. I'm sure they still go for a lot. That was pre-COVID.
If you sold them now, you'd be rich.
Yeah. Well, if I sold them at like a year ago, probably I'd be curious to see what they were worth now. But I'm kind of tempted to keep reading it just to keep like check it out again. It's 47 chapters. I could knock that out. Like some of it is a sense of like looking back on it's like who was I then and who I am now and how I still feel about it. But it's just
sure
like
you'd have fun with it.
JoJo went dormant for me for a little bit when I fell off of the part 6 anime. But it's like when I think about it, I get like, oh man, JoJo, yeah. I get excited when I think about it. So some of this will be a trip down memory lane through it. I'm assuming you would not buy it. Would you read it if I lent you my copy?
I would be more likely to read this than Slam Dunk.
You can't make that comparison. That was a month ago.
Yeah, but
it won't stop me.
As far as we're aware, the last thing that I said that I would read it if I had the Tankobon and it was sitting around, that was
admittedly
that one,
you have future vision on this.
So yeah,
even
like
if not a reading form.
I would give it a couple more chapters at least, if not a whole first volume, to be like, do I want to keep doing this? Which, I mean, it should only be like 4 or 5 volumes for part 1, right?
Yep. 47 chapters.
So you could fit that in an omnibus, just the whole part 1.
That's money. But yeah, and with that, I don't think we're at a cross odds enough for High Noon. High Noon on this wouldn't feel right.
It's good.
That's good. I like it. Yeah, you have to be like, it's bad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't think it's bad.
With that, thank you everybody for getting through the first of our bizarre episodes in JoJo January.
How bizarre.
And with that, Bizarre Brad, hit me with them plugs.
Fuck you, it's January. Well, as always, we want to thank Sugoi Mart for partnering with us. Sugoi Mart's a retailer of Japanese snacks, drinks, toys, and merch. And they got all kinds of stuff that you can't get outside of Japan. So our listeners can use the link in the description or use code APR15 at checkout to get 15% off their first order. We want to know what you think, so head over to our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com, where you can find links to all our social media. You can also leave comments about the podcast episodes up on the post there, as well as other reviews. Come join us on Discord, where we hang out and chat all the time. Got a lot of fun conversations there. And don't forget to check out our Patreon. Our supporters get perks like getting to vote on which series we cover on heroin addiction, bonus episodes, extra bonus episodes for the Noble and Royalty tiers, so you should check that out, and getting to hear the high-quality stereo version of the podcast early. And of course, we got to shout out our patrons. So first and foremost, at our Noble tier, we have our marquee, Sir Cake Dwarf. At our Reincarnator tier, we've got Moon. And last but not least, at our Commoner tier, we've got Kill Hour and Rena. So thank you so much to all our patrons.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you once again, everybody, for listening. Make sure you listen to all the shows on our feed. And Brad, if you think you're going to stop JoJo January, all of your efforts are muda 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 muda.
And here we go again.
I feel like saying, you got to get your tablet up because you got to get the script.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get there. Hey, fuck you, it's JoJo January.
I'm literally, I didn't want to say fuck you because it's the start of the podcast, which means YouTube will be funky about it, but I literally changed it. Hey, you, it's JoJo January. But I'm glad you already knew. I think I'm like kind of treating these as all pillars.
Oops All Pillars.
Oops All Pillars, just because it's like, these are tent poles of manga and anime. Yeah. And we're going to read literally just the first chapter, which are all weirdly short.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's been a while since I've heard these.
Okay. But before JoJo.
How's that? Wait, was I doing the first one? No, I was doing part 3. I'm trying to. How did Phantom Blood start? It's been a hot minute. I'm trying to think of it in part 2's intros coming into that. And I'm not getting part 1. I know part 1's in my brain. Nope, that's a later one. Did I just call it? Okay, good.
Oh, JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo. F it. We got to get in the vibe.
All right. Well, I'll pull it up on here then.
Oh yeah, you're right. That'll play better.
But before JoJo, you have something else to do.
What? What else do we have to do?
Moxie.
Oh, thank you. I even wrote it. I just didn't look at it yet. Okay.
Why do I have to keep reminding you what your name is?
It's new and I don't remember.
It's a whole thing.
It is. It's because my brain goes, I have more important things to think about. Because I've shifted over with enough people that I just stop thinking about it sometimes.
Now, the real kicker is the next 2 episodes where you record, you're going to be Kermit again.
Kermit again. I know. I appreciate the comedy of it.
I'll put this at the very end, but I do want to say specifically, so I had this conversation with my son.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We talked to you
we can talk
this.
about it on camera now.
Because you've interacted with him.
Mm-hmm.
And before that even, I talked about how you're going by Kermit and talked to him a little bit about that. And so when you were like, I'm going to go by Moxie now. That's how we're doing. I went, and I don't remember what we were talking about, but I was like, hey, by the way, Kermit is going by Moxie now. And he's like, okay, but I feel weird about that. And I said to him, you know what? Feeling weird about that is fine. That is a feeling that you are having, and having that feeling does not mean you're a bad person. However, how you act on that feeling is what determines whether or not you are a good person or a bad person. The feelings we have don't inform how we interact with people. It's how we choose to go about expressing those feelings.
Yeah.
So if you feel weird, dear listener, the fact that Kermit is now Moxie.
Change is scary.
That's fine. It's a transitionary period right now.
Hey.
But it's something that we're going to get used to. We're going to push through. And I'll tell you what, even for me, when you first were like, hey, I'm Moxie now. And, we were playing Helldivers.
Well, so that's always, it's like, I give a lot of leeway, especially during Helldivers. It's like, we're in a moment of chaos and your brain is reaching for the most familiar thing. So I generally just tank those because it's like, your brain is elsewhere right now. And it's like, you're not doing that. You're not in the heat of the moment and out of malice going, Kermit.
So you had already changed your Discord handle at
Correct.
the time.
But we hadn't had a conversation about it yet.
Right.
I was still just sort of like feeling it out.
And so we were in game and Lolly was like saying Moxie, Moxie, Moxie. And that entire, I think the campaign, I actually didn't say anything. Like I didn't use your name at all.
Yeah.
The entire
I noticed.
time. Because I was just like, wait
Brad,
a minute.
I noticed. It made me very
Where are we with this?
Nervous.
Because you didn't talk to me about it.
Correct.
And so I was just like,
I think I talked to you when I was still in brainstorming, and then I was worried for some reason. There was a lot of people I was worried to tell, even though everybody that I was worried about telling would have been was worried and had no reason to, and then they weren't, like, everybody was cool about it.
well, yeah, but
it's always
a big
worrisome.
deal. It's a big thing.
Also, I just freaking swapped over to Kermit, so it was just like, I felt like I was asking a lot, but it was just like, I said it, I better guess this is going at the end. I don't know where this is going. Like, I guess to have a personal moment in this freaking episode about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Phantom
it's
Blood.
Very personal to you.
I'm a vampire. No. But no.
That was actually the big news.
A trans JoJo, maybe. Who knows? But like I always knew I wanted a different name than government name. That I don't want to. I mean, I guess it's technically a dead name. I don't like using it outside of the government and I guess work and my parents. But like, Kermit was always like, this was a thing that I was already going by, so it was a hat that was somewhat familiar to try this thing out that I was like nervous about doing, because it's like when you are around other queer people and you see so many stories from both them and like people you know directly and out and about getting their freaking head stomped on, metaphorically or otherwise, for deigning to try to change who they are, you know, you get a little nervous about sticking your neck out a little bit to try to be more what you want to be. So Kermit was kind of like a, hey, people are already calling me this. Let's roll with this for now. But I kind of knew in my heart, it's like, that's not the end spot. And I thought, and I don't know what spurred it on recently that I was just like, because I think I had been brainstorming them for a while and I'd make a list and I'd come back to it every now and then and look over it and go. And finally this time it was just like, it's time. And this one just kind of struck out and had everything I wanted in it. So I don't know. Don't know. Still figuring it out.
Anyway,
It's
we have
work
to
in
record
progress.
the rest of this
Yes.
episode, so I hope that everybody can welcome Moxie, because we already have.
We already have. The episode already happened. So
My name is Brando.
he dies soon, so it's not a problem.
My name is Dario Brando.
I used the money I received from the Joesters to start a bar.
Thank you. Did you do that on purpose?
I wanted to do it on purpose, and I couldn't hold it.
You popped me. If I don't know if you saw my face, but you know I love Go Ahead, Mr. Joester. Dio spits on his father's grave. What?
Okay, I mean, I figured we would do a sound effect instead of narrating it, but whatever.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because it's like, I guess, yeah, you know, you're right.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Dog sounds, not ape sounds.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Strength, you're not supposed to be here for another 2 parts.
Dio, what are you doing?
I'm just putting your dog into the oven.
Dio, where's Danny? I miss him ever so much.
I should have prepped you to try to jump in to do the auras. He's now selling it, folks. Dioda! What's it? Is there another JoJo Part 1 meme I'm not remembering?
Zawilda!
That's not until Part 3. Even Speedwagon was afraid. I know that was an old one. Freaking Robert R.E.O. Speedwagon. Or I guess he's Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
Goodbye, JoJo!
That's at the very end of part 1.
Is that Part 1? Okay. I know he uses his freaking... He shoots his eye goo as a cold laser beam, which is the wildest fucking shit.
Doesn't he do that, but it's blood?
I think you're right, it's blood, but he shoots it through his eye
Yeah.
like a lizard. I love Araki's creativity, which is pulling fucking shit out of nothing. It's the best.
Punch
Wow.
the shit out of that frog.
Ho ho! Hey, baby!
Froggy?
Froggy.
Just, how many memes can we go through? Because you're just what I needed. I needed someone to be.
Isn't that Cars? It's not until Part 2, son.
Damn it.